Okay, go ahead.
My name is Coach Coleman. We're here in East St. Louis at the East St. Louis School District 189 Board Building. I'm here with some supporters and some people on the other side. We're talking about my reinstatement as the head boys basketball coach at East St. Louis Senior High School. I received a letter from the athletic director stating that he was not going to reinstate me or recommend that I come back as the head basketball coach. And the principal also signed off on it. The reason they gave was that I didn't have a good relationship with players, assistant coaches, parents, and administration. But in the 2 years prior to me taking over as head coach, we had a combined record of 25 and 26. The last 2 years that I've had the program, we have a combined record of 47 and 18. A trip to the sectional championship, and then the next year trip to the super sectionals. Okay, so some of my players, they've come here to lend their support because yearly the coaches have to be reinstated. I feel that the information that they put in the letter is not the total story. So therefore I gave information to the school board members and also to the superintendent.
Okay, so tell us what really happened. What was in the letter to cause us to come to this point of what's happening here at the school board in St. Louis?
Right. Well, again, it was stated in the letter. First of all, they congratulated me for a great postseason. Congratulated myself and my staff. But then the letter went on to say that they're not going to reinstate me.
Why do you think that is?
Well, I think the real reason is that it's personal. The real reason is, like the athletic director said, we're going in a different direction. And if the program was losing before I took over, now it's winning. But I'm putting emphasis back on the student part, of student athlete. And there are some times where I had to sit some players down, and some people didn't like that, didn't sit too well. So, we have two sides of the debate here. Some people believe that we win at all costs, meaning if you have to bend the rules. And sometimes it may even be breaking the rules. I don't know.
So what happened in your particular situation where you had to get a letter written up on you where they felt like you shouldn't be the head coach anymore? What particular situation happened? Some situations that told them that, hey, we don't want him as coach anymore.
Right. Well, I don't like to mention players by name.
They don't have your name.
But
there was situation happened.
No, well, there's one particular player that happens to be a very good ball player, and I had to sit him down for many games. But all of the reasons.
But why did you have to do that?
All the reasons that I have for sitting him down. I cannot and will not discuss publicly.
Okay.
But the number one thing and the number three, discipline. I stress the values of good academics, good attitude, and good attendance. So our kids have to take around a weekly progress report, and they must be average on a score of 1 to 5. They must at least be average in all three. The other job that I performed with the school district was as an intervention coach, and we work on social emotional learning skills. I am a firm believer that the discipline that's necessary to be a good athlete starts in the classroom. The same rules that apply at home, that apply in the classroom and in the community, it applies to our basketball program. We're trying to teach our kids how to win in the game of life. And so we'll take discipline over a win.
So what perspective did the coach, the athletic director, as well as the principal have that should happen with the situation? What did they say should have happened in order to, be on one accord or agree with what they were talking about to keep you from being dismissed?
Well, actually, I was forced to play at least 3 players who I felt had discipline problems and also had problems with the parents. We have some parents who want to see little Johnny play basketball, want to see little Johnny play football, not really putting the emphasis on the student part of it. But one of the players had good grades, but just didn't follow the team rules. I mean, you got to be on time for practice. We wear the white attire. There are a lot of rules. Okay, playing a sport you know, it's not a right, it's a privilege. You know, we have kids who try out for the team, and we set rules and we set standards. And everybody must adhere to those same standards. And, you know, it's a delicate thing there. You know, you have your best players. Your best players, you may set a standard for that player, and you let that player know that, hey, everybody's feeding off of you. You know, so if you're going to be that best player, that role model, you got to be a leader. And so I'm going to ask that kid, can you handle it? I'm going to put you to the test. You know, can you handle it? Because if I'm lenient on that best player, then some of the other players are going to take that notion that they can slack off because they're watching how I'm dealing with the best player. So my best player, he's got to really have a good attitude, and he's really got to hit his books.
So
he's got to be the role model.
So what does the school board and the superintendent say about your actions as far as being dismissed as a head coach?
Well, I wanted to speak at the meeting, but the board president said this is a personnel matter, and I'm going to have to address my concerns to the school board superintendent. But he did allow some of the players and other people from the public to speak.
And what outside of having your support, them having support for you, what else do they have to say?
Well, you know, the kids, they can speak for themselves. I don't like to put words in their mouth. But, you know, I spend a lot of time with those kids. You know, even if they have fathers, you know, we all have busy schedules. You know, so I invite them to my house, all of them. Even the kids who are complaining, the parents who are complaining, their kids have been to my house as well. But, you know, if I'm going to do something special for the kids, it's based on behavior. If you got a good behavior, I want to give you a reward. If you're doing good in class, I want to give you a reward. But I also work with youth who are not playing basketball. I've been directly or indirectly responsible for helping over 300 kids get summer jobs.
So before you got to this point of having come to the superintendent, to come to the school board and everything else, what other measures did you all take at the school?
Well, the superintendent has a philosophy which I agree with. An administrator has to be a good delegator, and the better the delegation, the better the administrator. So, you know, he's got the athletic director, the principal, and he also has one of his assistants from downtown to oversee the athletics at the high school. And so, mainly, they want decisions made at the campus. And if we can't work it out there, we go to the next level, and it would be to his assistant. And I've had several meetings with them, and it just hasn't accomplished very much. Most of the time when I was in those meetings, it was just like attack Ray Coleman.
Okay, now when you see in the meetings, who was in attendance? You're talking about
the principal, the athletic director, and then one administrator from the school board.
Okay, so it was a school board member, or was it somebody?
No, it was an administrator under the superintendent. Yes.
Okay. So at this point right now, you have to go and have a personal meeting with the superintendent.
Right. I was advised by the school board president that I need to meet with the superintendent.
And so
I did give information. I gave information to all the school board members and to the superintendent to take a look at the information that I see when I make my decisions.
So do you want your job back as the head coach?
I absolutely do. This is a ministry for me. And I made a commitment to my Heavenly Father that I would work with you. And, you know, they say be careful what you commit to God and what you ask God for. And so I have no boys of my own. I've got 2 biological daughters, but I have no sons. So whenever I coach, I treat these boys like they're my own sons. And so I hold them to a high standard. And some of them can take it, some can't.
So is the basketball player that was on the team before that led y'all to this point, is he still on the team? And what does he feel about you being the coach again? Or his parents?
Well, you know, you have to try out every year to make the team. So next year, if I'm the coach, all of the players have to try out once again on all levels. As the head basketball coach, I like to make sure that all of our levels, from freshman on up to varsity, that we play by the same set of rules. So we want to make sure that the discipline is the same on all levels. So those who can handle it year round, year round. You got to keep your grades up year round, not just during basketball season. You got to keep your attitude together year round, not just during basketball season.
So when it comes to his parents going along with the program to have discipline, I mean, what are they saying? I mean, are they like going along with the son, or are they going along with the program?
In most situations, if they're in agreement with the playing time, there's no problem. The problem comes in is when little Johnny is not playing. If little Johnny is playing, it's fine. Those same the kids who I'm having problems with, those kids have been over to my house, and we've shared laughter and good conversations, just like all the rest of the kids. And I don't hold those kids totally responsible for their actions. I look at the adults who are in their lives, and I think they're doing a grave disservice to these young men. They're teaching these young men that they don't have to follow the guidelines that myself as a coach is authorizing. And I understand that I answer to an athletic director and to a principal and to other administrators, but in that coaching fraternity, every day we're with those kids in practice, and we have an obligation to make sure that they're good students. And my philosophy is you have to win off the court and be disciplined off the court before you can be disciplined on the court. And I just won't see it any other way.
So did they say a certain date or time when you would be able to get with
No, they didn't.
the board? Or,
No, they didn't.
I mean, is it up to you to initiate the situation, or
Well,
are they going to get in contact with you?
I'm not going to wait. I'm not going to wait. I was told that we have to meet, so I will give a couple days, and then I will make a phone call. I will reach out to the superintendent. Let me just say this: the superintendent, I have a lot of confidence in him. I think he's a very courageous man. He's a very spiritual man. Whatever decision he makes, I'm going to live with it. Everything happens for a reason. It happens on time. And I feel God put me here, and God will move me away from this position if that's what time it is. And I'll accept it.
All right. Well, thank you very much, Coach Coleman.
You're welcome.
All right. All right. All right. That was Coach Ray Coleman. He was just speaking about his situation as a head coach at East St. Louis High School. Today is April the 16th, 2012, and we'll get back with you.